And the Game Award goes to...
Fortnite.
If the Avengers project turned out to be anything like Fortnite, I probably just snapped myself out of existence. Anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very interesting Avengers project related video. And yes, we are once again talking about the very much mysterious and very much anticipated Avengers project, which is being developed by Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, and Eidos Montreal. And speaking of the game's developers, we do have a very interesting development going on within the Crystal Dynamics studio, because they are looking for developers individually to be hired for some very important positions at their company. Now, even though it's not out of the ordinary at all for a game developer to try and hire more people to join their studio to work on a game that is currently in production, what is interesting is the jobs that they are trying to find people to join for. So even though it's great that Crystal Dynamics is looking for more people to work on the Avengers project specifically, it may not bode well for when we can expect the game to release, given how deep in development the game appears to be. So to start off with, the initial tweet that Crystal Dynamics posted on their social media page is stating, "Have an eye for ambiance? Crystal Dynamics is looking for a lead environment artist who has achieved success in creating atmospheric, stunning, and effective environments." And as you see right there, that is the link which leads into the Crystal Dynamics job posting, which thoroughly describes what the job entails for a lead environment artist, which is essentially creating very thoroughly detailed environments for the games that they are working on. And even though a lead environment artist is a very high positioning job which requires a lot of experience in the field, this next post that Crystal Dynamics put up is even more important than that. So as you see here, the latest tweet that CD posted regarding these job positions relates to organization, project management, communication, and passion for games. Crystal Dynamics is looking for an art producer, cinematics producer, and outsource producer to keep our teams running as efficient as possible. And once again, just like that link posted last time, it does in fact take you to the job postings on Crystal Dynamics website. However, given all the jobs that Crystal posted about, they do in fact all actually relate to the one and only Avengers project. This is not only thoroughly implied within each of the job's descriptions, but it's flat out stated within the art producer position. So as it says within the art producer position summary statement, Crystal Dynamics is looking for an enthusiastic and highly organized producer with demonstrable project management experience to take on a production role in building our upcoming Avengers project. A successful producer works in support of the development team to coordinate, track, and guide activities of game features to ensure timely completion to quality. So this is obviously a major job position that Crystal is looking to hire a person for, since it does directly indicate the Avengers project, also implying that it is thoroughly still within development. But to add on to the job positions, we also have one for an outsource producer. And as the job description states, the outsource producer focuses on the visual development of the product, works closely with the team art manager, creative director, art director, and external vendors to ensure that the quality and integrity of the product meets or exceeds product vision and pushes the boundaries of competitive visual quality. With exceptional visual and communication skills, as well as a strong understanding of the art creation process from an aesthetic, pipeline, and technical standpoint, the outsourced producer monitors the continuity of art assets with outside vendors. So not only does this position directly relate to the game's artistic aesthetic, but it also relates to being supervised by a much wider thread of game developers relating to the art side of the game. But out of all these jobs, the most important one and the most crucial one indicating that the Avengers project is far from releasing is actually a cinematics producer for Crystal Dynamics. And once again, as the position summary states, Crystal Dynamics is looking for a talented, enthusiastic, and highly organized producer with demonstrable project management experience to take on a major production role working closely with our cinematics team. You are an individual with outstanding communication skills and a proven track record in development and production, specifically supporting cinematic teams for narrative games. You will coordinate, track, and guide activities of the cinematics team to ensure that projects are completed on time and with high quality. Exposure to formal project management techniques in an internal development environment a must. Previous experience building and maintaining schedules is essential. And as for what I believe to be the most important part of this description, this position is equivalent to experience in the mid to high mid-level with 5+ years of internal game development experience. Working working on multi-million-dollar, highly rated AAA projects. Entry-level candidates and candidates with exclusively publisher side experience will not qualify for this position. So seeing all the high-quality positions that Crystal Dynamics is looking for people to apply for, it really shows that the Avengers project is still thoroughly within the stages of development. And even though it was confirmed by Square Enix a few months ago that we were guaranteed a release of a game from them by the end of this year, I really don't think that that does relate to the Avengers project anymore. And given how we now have a better grasp of the overall development cycle that is underway within Crystal Dynamics' studio, it sadly makes me a little less confident about the overall experience itself. I think it's safe to say that at this point, the Avengers project was announced way too early within the very beginning of 2017 and instead should have been announced this year in 2019 or possibly late in 2018. Plus, seeing how we were guaranteed by the creative director of the Avengers project itself with Sean S. Cagg saying that we were going to see something about the game in 2018, I really hope that they can come back from their lack of the guaranteed promise and hopefully show something later within this year of 2019. Although the main factor as to why we haven't received any info or footage relating to the Avengers project doesn't necessarily relate to Crystal Dynamics or Eidos Montreal, but primarily with the publisher of Square Enix. If you don't know, Square Enix is pretty much infamous for announcing a game years ahead of time before the actual release of the game comes into fruition. This of course primarily relates to popular game franchises such as Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and now apparently with the Avengers. Even though a minority of people still are aware of the Avengers project existence, the less we hear from the developers talking about it itself within their studio, the less that people are actually getting excited about it and the less that they know about it in general. And alongside of this, the general Marvel audience aren't too aware within how the gaming industry operates, specifically with how Square Enix handles their games when in deep development. So hopefully for both Marvel and Crystal Dynamics case, they can find people to apply for these positions relatively soon and hopefully show off gameplay of it in action at this year's E3. But if we somehow do end up having to wait even longer to see footage of the Avengers project in action, even after this year's E3 is over in June, I will be a bit disappointed with the overall status of this game itself. So fingers crossed that everything works out well for Crystal Dynamics and that the overall wait for this game will be worth it in the long run. But with all that said, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What are your current thoughts on the status of the Avengers project development, and do you think that we will have to wait even longer to see this game in action? For me personally, I do think that we could possibly receive an update from everyone working on the Avengers project during this year's E3 in June, but hopefully that we will receive some footage of it in action by the time that E3 does come around. And as a simple comparison, given how successful Spider-Man PS4 was, especially for Insomniac and Marvel, I really hope the same thing can be said with the Avengers project for Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix, and Marvel Games. And speaking of Spider-Man PS4, we do have another installment within our awesome Spidey Squad photo mode competition that is still currently happening. So if you've been keeping in the loop for our Spidey Squad photo mode competition, you will recall that the latest outfit that we decided to take photos of is indeed the Resilient suit. And as it so happens, we did choose 4 amazing individuals that took amazing shots of the suit in action within Spider-Man PS4's universe. So huge congratulations to @MatthewXG427, as well as @Luckley_Lucas and @Sandscape222, and finally @JackIreland_200. Not only are these really great shots in general, but they also managed to pinpoint the finite details of the overall textures of the suit itself. So again, huge congrats to everyone who took photos of this suit in action within Spider-Man PS4, and hopefully the same thing can be said with the next suit in the photo mode competition is indeed the Future Foundation skin. So again, if you do want to be featured within our photo mode competition, simply put the hashtag SpideySquadPMComp underneath your photo with your Twitter @ to make sure that you are identified. So get out there and try and take as many awesome photos of Spider-Man as you possibly can. And until next time, true believers, thank you all so much for watching, stay merry Marvelites, and peace out.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.